Welcome on the cosmic atom. They do not say it aloud, but you can sense it. When you walk into a room, people alter positions. Their smiles stiffen. Their laughter fades. Conversations end in mid-sentence. It isn't because you are nasty, arrogant, or did anything wrong. It's because there is something about you, an imperceptible intensity. They are unable to explain, but cannot ignore us. D questions. You pay attentive attention. You talk with purpose. When you look someone in the eyes, they will look away. You've been told you're too serious, intense, and overthink everything. What if you aren't too much? What if, as Carl Jung suspected, your presence is infused with something far more powerful? An aura, not the fluffy sort, but a psychological power, a silent spirit that confronts others without saying anything. People aren't terrified of you. They are terrified of what you are reflecting back at them. They have their own insecurities, phobias, and masks. So they withdraw. They avoid. They gossip. They shrink only to be safe around you. Not because you're scary, but because your energy is genuine and honest. It disturbs people who are accustomed to pretending. Carl Jung devoted his life researching this. The spiritual force that emanates from persons who have met their shadow and embraced their true self. This video will show you the 13 symptoms that Urim may be secretly overwhelming others. Not because you are broken, but because you are unusual. In a world addicted to comfort, unusual energy scares people. Auras are commonly associated with spirituality. A luminous field of hues floats around the body. However, Carl Jung held a far deeper, more psychological perspective. Too young, your aura did not consist of light. It was made from energy, not the type you can quantify, but the kind you can sense. He felt that everyone emits a subtle, yet potent field of psychic energy. Your thoughts, emotions, and, most importantly, your unconscious all influence how you are. And this energy talks before you say anything. It's evident in the way you enter a room, in the way others react to you without understanding why. Even in silence, you convey a certain feeling. Jung referred to this influence as the unconscious transmission of the self, and it emanates from various portions of you. Most people ignore or suppress their darkness, grief, or reality. The more you confront those hidden aspects, the more your energy shifts. You begin to project a different sort of presence, one fashioned not by social masks or shallow approbation, but by self-awareness, depth, and inner alignment. And people feel it, even if they can't articulate it. They see that you are different. It's in the way your eyes carry emotion, in the stillness of your silence, and the quiet intensity of your gaze. Jung thought that this type of aura may unconsciously activate others. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your energy reveals what they've spent their entire lives attempting to conceal. Their insecurities, phobias, and false identities. This is why others may avoid you, misinterpret you, or feel intimidated, even if you are soft-spoken and friendly. Your aura, the energy of your true self, is communicating directly with their unconscious, and not everyone is prepared for that talk. Understanding this concept is central to Jung's teaching that we are more than simply our minds and bodies. We are areas of mental influence, living symbols and walking mirrors. And the more honest you are with yourself, the stronger your aura appears to others. Sign number 1. People claim you are overly intense, even when you are simply being honest. You communicate from a deep place, not to impress or dominate, but to connect. Yet, your words always seem to go too far. You say things that others avoid. You identify what people keep hidden. You offer reality to locations that were previously founded on delusion, and it makes people uncomfortable. They accuse you of being overly serious, excessively profound, or both. But what they truly mean is that you make me experience emotions I'm not prepared to feel. Carl Jung thought that certain people possessed energy that awakened the unconscious. Others are forced to face the reality about themselves, life, and their carefully built identities. So when you talk, it's more than just words. It's energy, presence, and depth. For those who live on the surface, this feels like a threat. Your intensity does not indicate hostility. It is not arrogance. It is emotional honesty. Very few people can hold it without flinching. Sign number 2. Casual talk feels physically depleting to you. You may feel it right away. The shallow, planned enthusiasm of surface-level discussions. How is the weather? What are you doing? Did you see the show last night? It's not that you're being disrespectful. You try to interact. You nod, grin, and respond. But something inside you resists. Jung thought that persons who are deeply connected to their unconscious are repulsed by inauthenticity. Small chat is frequently used as a shield, allowing people to avoid making genuine connections. So when you're having these talks, your aura transmits a different signal. This is not real. Let's talk about something important. However, that energy upsets the script. It disrupts the social illusion. People perceive it. Even if you never say anything, they can perceive you as standoffish, frigid, or antisocial. But the truth is that your spirit is longing for reality, and your aura reflects that hunger. Sign number 3. You attract confessions through emotional dumping. Strangers tell you their life stories. Friends want your help while they are in distress. You phone a therapist more times than you can remember, even though you didn't ask for it. This is no coincidence. Jung thought that certain people had an unconscious archetype of the healer, even if they do not work in the healing field. Your aura reflects depth, stillness, and emotional safety. People feel comfortable opening up to you, even if they don't know you well. However, there's a paradox. You rarely feel acknowledged in return. You listen, hold space, and absorb pain. However, few people ask how you're doing. This results in a weird loneliness, in which you are surrounded by feeling but starve for connection. Your aura may be attractive to others in agony, but can also scare those who are afraid of their own darkness. Sign number 4. People appear to avoid making eye contact with you. You walk into a room and you sense it. People shift. They exchange glances, then look aside. They speak softly. They act differently. It's subtle but obvious. Sometimes they completely avoid you. Sometimes they stare as if they're trying to figure you out, but say nothing. Carl Jung stated that when you integrate aspects of yourself that others deny, you unconsciously reflect what they have suppressed. Your eye contact goes beyond a social gesture. It becomes a psychic contact. They aren't just seeing you. They perceive themselves through you. And if they are not prepared for that contemplation, they will flinch. They will retreat. They'll categorize you as intimidating, even if you're being absolutely kind. Your presence necessitates honesty, not because you request it, but because your aura speaks before your words do. Sign number 5. Your presence elicits significant reactions without you doing anything. You're just sitting there doing nothing out of the ordinary. Still, someone reacts. They become defensive, irritable, or unusually frigid. And you're left wondering, what did I do? Carl Jung thought that when someone possesses a strong, integrated energy, it disrupts the unconscious of people around them, particularly those who are concealing from aspects of themselves. Your presence functions as a mirror. People see aspects of themselves reflected in you. They refuse to acknowledge certain parts. They are insecure. They're shame. They are envious. You don't even need to speak. Your energy does the talking. This is the quiet strength of a matured aura. You do not need to command attention, since your sheer presence forces others to examine who they truly are. Most people dislike what they see. Sign number 6. People understand that you cannot accept phony identities. You've never been able to tolerate masks, fake laughs, shallow egos, and an insatiable desire to act. You can see through it instantly. You feel in your belly before your head can catch up. This sensitivity is not a judgment. It's about perception. Jung felt that integrating one's shadow or dark, rejected traits leads to psychological completeness. This grants them the ability to detect fragmentation in others. So, when you're with someone who is posing or claiming to be someone they aren't, your aura sends a subtle message. Drop the act. I can see who you truly are. Most folks are not prepared for that. They may get anxious or overly protective around you, or they will simply describe you as intense and keep their distance, not because you have exposed them, but because your energy will not allow their illusion to breathe. Sign number 7. You make others second-guess themselves. You pose questions that others avoid. You challenge assumptions. You do not accept normal simply because it is prevalent. As a result, individuals around you begin to question their own actions. They become flustered. They distrust what they say. They strive to excuse things they normally wouldn't consider. This is arrogance. It is not manipulation. It represents the psychic weight of your clarity. Jung claimed that when a person embodies profound self-awareness, they become a living contradiction to the community. Your clarity reveals uncertainty. Your tranquility betrays concern. Your self-assurance emphasizes other people's self-doubt. You do not need to argue. You do not need to prove anything. Simply being yourself can undermine false certainty. And in a world obsessed with ego affirmation, that makes you quietly dangerous. Sign number 8. People open up to you, then draw away. They tell you their secrets. They say you understand them better than anybody else. For a brief period, there appears to be a genuine connection. They abruptly vanish. They quit texting. They get distant. And you are left wondering what occurred. This mental trauma is not your responsibility. This is the shadow at work. Jung emphasized that when someone is fully seen, they're not just flattered, but also understood at their heart. It awakens elements of them that they have spent years avoiding. Your aura did not harm them. It disclosed them. And this might be terrifying for someone who is not ready to confront their suffering, trauma, or deeper reality. So they draw away, not because you did anything wrong, but because you unintentionally unlocked a door they were not prepared to step through. You did not break the connection. You made it to reality. Sign number 9. You unintentionally intimidate people, particularly authority figures. You go into a room, and the power dynamic transforms. Your employer becomes defensive. That loud, dominant individual quiets down. People who are used to dominating the narrative start to stumble. You didn't do anything, yet your intensity indicates that I'm not easily controlled. It is believed that those who have absorbed their inner authority, their inner king or queen archetype, emit a sense of serene sovereignty. It does not shout. It does not maintain a position. It simply is. And that type of presence endangers everyone who bases their identity on domination or control. You may notice that people in positions of authority either truly appreciate you or discreetly detest you, because your aura communicates without words. You don't have influence over me. And for those who rely on fear or prestige to keep control, there is nothing more unnerving than walking into someone's life with kindness, honesty, and no hidden goal. But nevertheless, you become the antagonist in their story. They accuse you of being arrogant, cold, intense, and overly emotional. They transform your silence into judgment, your self-worth into ego, and your solitude into rejection. This is not about you. It's about projection. Carl Jung stressed one of the most harmful blind spots in human interactions. When people refuse to acknowledge their own flaws, they unintentionally project them on others. And folks with powerful auras, deep, Developed, spiritually attuned auras make the ideal screen, since your presence reflects what they're attempting to conceal. You did not become the villain. You just refused to play the victim. This threw their story off track. Sign number 11. Strangers are drawn to you without understanding why. It happens in supermarkets, airports, and waiting rooms. A stranger initiates a long conversation with you. They admit something intimate. They say, "I'm not sure why I'm telling you this." There is no small talk, simply genuine passion. They seem to be waiting for someone like you to emerge. Jung believes that some people possess what he calls numinous energy. It is not charisma. It's not charming. It is the soul's gravitation. People perceive it. They're not sure what they're feeling, but they feel protected, seen, drawn to something ancient and sacred. Your aura functions as a quiet, spiritual lighthouse. Even if you're not religious and do not seek anything, your soul shines. Others, particularly those who have lost or are struggling, the searchers will experience it as a silent calling. Sign number 12. You can instantly feel the vibe in a room. When you go in, you see something is wrong right away. You feel tense. You perceive resentment. Before anyone else says anything, you pick up the mask that everyone is wearing. It appears that you have a sixth sense. But, in reality, it's your advanced psychic ability. Carl Jung referred to this as psychological intuition, the unconscious intelligence that exists behind reasoning and language. You don't require explanations. You can feel the truth. You sense dishonesty. You don't simply observe energy. You absorb it. This is the two-edged sword of spiritual awareness. It allows you to explore deeper aspects of the human experience, but it also makes you subject to energetic overload. Your aura acts like an antenna, constantly gathering up signals that people are unaware they are giving. And unless you're careful, you can find up carrying emotions that weren't yours to begin with. Sign number 13. You've always felt different from the rest of the world, and others do as well. You have a difficult time explaining your loneliness. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the loneliness of being socially distinct. You felt like an outcast since you were a child, even among your friends and relatives. It's as if you were born with ancient eyes in a world that can only see the surface. Carl Jung felt that certain people are born with a calling from inside, a profound inner voice that guides them toward growth, wholeness, and transformation. These folks frequently dwell on the margins of society. They question what others accept. They carry wisdom that seems otherworldly. Your aura reflects this. It carries depth and intrigue. It awakens something old in those who encounter you. Some people are motivated by it. Some are afraid by it. However, few can ignore it, because whether they recognize it or not, they are in the presence of someone who does not fully belong in this world, but has been sent to change it. You've seen it happen time and again. When you enter a space, something changes. People become defensive, distant, uneasy, and occasionally even angry. And you are left wondering why you did not say something offensive. You are not attempting to dominate the room. You were simply being yourself. But it is the exact problem. Because your aura exudes authenticity, self-awareness, and depth, it challenges others. It forces individuals to confront aspects of themselves that they have long suppressed. Carl Jung felt that every one of us has a shadow, a hidden component of our personality that contains tendencies we have repressed or ignored. Most individuals live their lives avoiding it. However, when someone with an integrated aura steps into the room, the shadow is activated. Your presence communicates silently. I faced myself. Have you? And to those who haven't, this is terrifying. The ego's battle against individuation. Jung's primary psychological journey was that of individuation, becoming your authentic, whole self, by blending light and shadow. However, most people never take this journey. Why? Because the ego, or our manufactured self-image passionately fights it. The ego does not seek truth. It seeks control. It wants to believe that I am a good guy. I am normal. I'm fine as I am. And anyone who calls it into question is viewed as a threat. That's you. You aren't threatening because you are assertive. You are threatening because you have progressed. Your aura reflects someone who is in the process. Someone who has questioned, stripped down, and rebuilt oneself from the inside out. That energy exposes everyone who is still holding onto their illusions. And rather than responding, "I want to grow like that," many will reply, "You're too much." Why? Rare energy feels dangerous. We live in a world that values conformity and surface-level behavior. Being loud, agreeable, and contemporary makes people feel at ease. However, when someone goes in with silence, calm, and spiritual depth, they violate the implicit social agreement. People are unsure how to categorize you. You do not play the regular games. You do not seek validation. Your very presence asks, "What else is there?" This generates emotional dissonance. The discomfort that occurs when someone is forced to face truths they have previously disregarded. The disagreement swiftly transforms into aversion or judgment. Because it's easier to classify someone as weird than to recognize they're living more clearly than I am. You are a mirror, and mirrors are not always welcome. The spiritual richness of your aura draws individuals back to themselves, particularly those who are open. This has a magnetic sense about it. They are drawn to your intelligence, calmness, and presence. To those who are fractured, it feels intrusive. They don't want to be seen so clearly. They do not want to experience their own confusion, nervousness, or denial. So they retreat. They attack. They reject, not because you are wrong, but because you are authentic. Your aura is a gift. However, it comes with solitude. Carl Jung once stated, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." However, becoming who you truly are is not a glamorous journey. It's a journey that demands guts, self-confrontation, and frequently terrible loneliness. Your aura reflects the weight of your inner work. It's not about outperforming anyone. It's about becoming more entire. Wholeness will always be scarce. It will always be misunderstood. And it will always scare those who have not yet started. But the truth is that the more people pull away, the closer you become to yourself, and the more aligned you become. The more light you bring into a dark world, even if it is a blind assumption. If you've made it this far, there's something you should know. You're not broken. You're not too much. And you certainly are not the problem. You are a rarity. You feel things that others disregard. Most people are unaware of the patterns you perceive. You ask inquiries that make others uncomfortable. Not because you intend to make difficulty, but because your soul is designed for truth. And the truth comes at a cost. Carl Jung argued that the path to completeness or individuation is not one that the majority are willing to take. It's lonely and unsettling, and it often entails going through life misunderstood. However, there is a paradox. The very thing that isolates you demonstrates your depth. The discomfort you experience in shallow conversations, the need to break free from harmful relationships, the agony of being too intense, too silent, or too deep. They're not flaws. They are signals that you are progressing. Because as your aura grows, the world shrinks. The majority of people are born into a mold. I was told who I should be, how to act, and how to feel. But your soul was wired differently. You were never intended to fit in. You were supposed to awaken. And with awakening comes opposition. Not just in society, but also among those closest to you. Not because they are terrible, but because your enthusiasm reminds them of the tasks they have avoided. You are a mirror. They never requested a light. They are not prepared to walk toward. But you still shine. Carl Jung once said that a lonely day is God's way of expressing his desire to spend quality time with you. And maybe that is the point. Maybe your isolation isn't punishment. Perhaps it is preparation for higher insight, spiritual strength, and the kind of clarity that most people never achieve in their lives. Because when your aura scares people, it's usually because it speaks a language that their soul understands, but their mind doesn't. So do not shrink. Do not dim. Do not apologize for your sensitivity, understanding, or inner fire. You're not here to be palatable. You're here to be powerful. While others may feel uneasy in your presence, those who are meant for you will feel safe and stronger when you step into the room, since your aura is more than just energy. It's a signal, a call to truth, and a reminder of what's possible when someone dares to be completely alive. So the next time someone calls you too much, you grin and recall. You're not too much. You're just unusual. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.